Hi, I'm Kenny Anderson, Director of Multicultural Affairs for the City of Huntsville, and welcome to Impact. Each week we have the distinguished privilege of bringing information to you about things that are happening right here in our community. And there are some great things that are happening, especially as it relates to our young people. You can talk to any 2, 3, 4, 5 people, and I think each one will tell you that somewhere in their journey of life, there was somebody who pulled them off to the side and said, you know what, son? You can do better. You know what, daughter? I know that you can have the best that can be in life. And the reality is that it takes that type of leadership and mentorship in order to make a difference in young people's lives. We're going to be talking about that topic today, one of my favorite topics in all the world, because as I always like to say, each one should try to reach one. And we're going to be talking about mentoring today with my very special guest on the broadcast. Bryant Smith is founder and program coordinator of the Winning Foundation. Welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
It's good to have you here. And Teresa Batts is a board member and supporter of this organization as well. Welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you so much for having us here.
It's good to have both of you here today, and it's good to be able to talk about this topic in such a way because it is a topic that so many people are talking about. It doesn't matter where you go. I mean, if you walk into a church, they're talking about it. I'm sure mosques and synagogues as well, they're talking about their children. If you walk into a youth education facility, they're talking about kids. Educational institution, they're talking about kids. In the homes, they're talking about kids. Everybody seems to be talking about kids because at the end of the day, as adults, we want what's best for them. And of course, you started this foundation with the whole idea of making a difference in young people's lives. But let's start from the beginning. Let's say a little bit about where you come from and where your background or how your background has perhaps found you at the point that you are in life right now.
All right, I'm from Huntsville, Alabama. I'm born and raised here. Grew up in a single parent home. Wasn't the best conditions, but my mother led me well and we were able to make it out. I graduated from Butler High School and I received the basketball scholarship to Auburn.
Go Rebels.
War Eagle. So after that, I was able to go and have a 15-year professional basketball career. And as I was finishing up my career, I was thinking about the people that were instrumental in my life and the times that it were hard for me, how I was able to make it through. You know, what a great idea for me to do the same.
You know, you said something that always makes me wonder, and my background, of course, is in mental health counseling, but I've asked this question for probably the 35 years or so of my professional career. And the question is this: you obviously had an experience that a lot of people don't make it out of. A lot of people come from challenging home environments and they go in a different direction. What do you think made the difference for you?
My mother, being strict, having structure, understanding the importance of my education. And I think her being strict on me and giving me that structure led me to be disciplined enough to go ahead and make it through.
Yeah, and it takes that kind of discipline, Teresa, in order to really help kids understand that life is not this willy-nilly thing that they just kind of live from day to day and they, in the midst of making all of these choices through their challenges, end up in the right place. They really need solid guidance and direction. Like Bryant said, they need structure. Yes. They need to know where the limits and the boundaries are. Because if they don't have that consistently applied in their lives, it can create some problems.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And one of the things that I do with the girls is I'm trying to teach them about their value and their worth. And so developing positive affirmations that basically they recite to themselves every day, you know. I am beautiful, but beauty is from the inside out, okay? And telling them that they are a wonderful human being and that they can achieve anything that they want in life. Dealing with some of the behavior problems for me, when they're presented, I don't really get too upset about some of the things because I realize that it's a direct reflection of some of the struggles and the challenges that they face each and every day. So helping them to develop skills, positive ways of dealing with different situations, I call it conflict resolution, and helping them to build their self-esteem and self-confidence. Some of the things that I know personally that I lacked as a child coming up, okay? So it gives me pleasure to be able to help somebody at their age, 4th and 5th graders, you know, to understand that, hey, you can do it. You know, you're smart. You are unique, you're special. You know, just keep telling these kids this over and helping them to realize the responsibility and understand that there will be challenges. It's just when, but there will be.
Yeah.
And you need to know how to respond to the different situations that you'll face in life.
Yeah, I want to affirm your admission of imperfection, something that a lot of adults are afraid to do at
Yes.
times. We don't want to be transparent. We don't want to tell young people about the challenges of the road that we face. And oftentimes we want people to even believe
Right.
that we just were birthed and everything was wonderful and we all live happily ever after. But the truth is we've all had challenges.
Yes.
And that's why this mentoring piece is so important. And Bryant, I wonder what made you really focus on starting a nonprofit organization that can actually build itself around the lives of young people and really hone in on them in such a way that it could make a difference in their lives, that could really be the difference, the change maker in their lives?
Well, about 3 years ago, I was blessed to have a summer program, about 30, 35 young men. And this summer, 8-week-long camp, we had a great time, built a lot of good relationships with our young men. Well, I went back to playing basketball in France that year and come back the next summer and had the camp again. Well, my young men were a little bit out of shape. So the idea came that this is something that we needed year-round. And I went back again and played another year. December came and my father upstairs stepped into my life and he gave me a vision. He said, this is something that our young men and women need in the city of Huntsville. And I started it and we started to progress into the school systems, and that's where I was able to see the difference. I was able to see the mentoring actually happen. Young men were tending to turn their behavior around, concentrate more on their grades, be more respectful in class. And these are the things that we need, I believe, in our cities, in our school system.
And of course, mentoring is more than just saying nice things to people or encouraging them from time to time. That's all part of the process, throwing money at them. Even if you make a regular annual contribution to something, it really is about that person stepping into your life. I heard you talk about your mom. I grew up on the Lower East Side of Manhattan. I had 2 parents, but my parents were poor. And so it wasn't like as if we were living in a lap of luxury and everything came to us easily. You know, my dad worked every day and came home tired. My mom worked every day, came home tired, but they always made time for their kids. They always invested in knowing something about how we were doing in school. We never just went to people's houses or acted any way when we went there. Right. We went to church together, we ate together. All of these different kinds of things transmitted values to me that even when I have not made the best decisions in life, it gave me kind of like a point of reference to go back to. And I imagine that in a lot of young people's lives, they don't have that point of reference that can help them move beyond the challenge. I wonder what you see oftentimes with young men when you're talking to them and they're talking about their own burdens and challenges. It cannot be easy, but what helps you move past the point of their pain, their confusion, their anger, their disappointment, their frustration, all of those different emotions that they might feel? What are the kinds of things that you get involved with to help them move that? And then, Teresa, I want you to talk about some of the girls that you work with.
I would like to look at myself as being successful. And I see those young men as having potential to be successful. They just need someone to put their arms around them, let them know that we genuinely care for them, show them the way to be successful, the things that they need, the education, the discipline they need, the structure that they need to put in their lives. Sometimes a young man, we can't do that by ourselves. We need someone to kind of nudge us along. And that's why I come in. I'm there consistently with them, letting them know that I genuinely care about their well-being. They have the gifts and tools that our God above give them. It's on us as a community to come together and continue to help these young men and young women understand, look, you're valuable. You can do it. You can be successful. Be prosperous. It's out there. You can obtain it.
You said something really important there. You got to be genuine, because if you're not being real, they're going to see right through
yeah.
that. And it's not going to mean a lot to them,
Right.
because that's a lot of what they're already dealing with. And they're
right.
looking for somebody who's consistent and real. Teresa, you're working with a lot of the girls, and I know that they have lots of challenges as well. How do you push past the point of them breaking to help them see something on the other side of that difficulty?
What we do a lot, and of course I've been mentoring for several years now, and you develop this relationship and you help them to understand that some of the same things that they face, you faced it too. But it all has to do with your response to the situation. I tell them if they don't want to talk about it in an open setting, that I will wait after the session and we can talk about situations. So I find myself a lot of times just dealing with some one-on-one to help them to see. And then they do a lot of role playing. Role playing to me is a good way for them to really see better ways to handle situations. Now, of course, you know, with girls, it's always going to be something about what she said and, you know, and this stuff that goes on between girls, but trying to help them to develop positive ways of dealing with situations that will come in their life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's so important, to be able to give a first-person testimony that they can relate to.
Yes.
And that they can actually develop some sense of confidence.
Right.
That they can go beyond the point of whatever the challenges that they're facing, because it's real easy to give up. I mean, that's the easy answer.
Exactly.
Give up, because then you don't have to be responsible. There's no accountability. And in many instances, people think you don't care. But the reality is that when you're a mentor, you do care.
Oh, yes.
And it hurts when a young person is moving in a different direction. Of course, this could easily be a discussion about parenting, because same thing happens with parents when kids go against their parents' wishes. But it's really all about coming to understand oneself, I think, at the end of the day. And I think any one of us who are having this conversation, we're talking about working with young people, we're really talking about helping people find themselves.
Exactly.
The Winning Foundation is, we've got just a few minutes left, believe it or not. I tell you, time flies when you're having a good time. But just tell us real briefly about how you operate. Like, where does it exist there? Is there a building? I know you mentioned Huntsville City Schools. How does it actually operate?
Well, we're going to the schools. We observe, and then we find our behavior challenged children. Once we identify them, then we connect with the teachers, we connect with the parents, we connect with the counselors, and we come together and we formulate a way or a plan to get them through the end of the school year where their grades are higher, they're becoming better people, the character is there. We talked about the discipline and the structure. These are things that we have to give to our kids, because kids learn from us. If we don't put it back into them, then they're going to receive it either from the social media, from the music they listen to, or the environment that they're growing up in. So it's our responsibility. It's my responsibility, I feel, to come in to the school system, observe and identify kids and help them along their journey.
Yeah, so in a way, you're really considered a partner of the school system, because you're able to come alongside them and identify kids that are having some problems and work to fix those issues and those challenges. Very quickly, is there parental involvement as it relates to your foundation?
Most definitely. We always need the parents. We're all a family. You know, you go in and you adopt one child, but I think you adopt that whole family. You know, you go in and you want to make everyone understand what's at stake here. You know, we're dealing with a young person's life. We do not want to throw that or take that for granted. We want to make that child and the parent understand that we're here to help them be better leaders for their children.
So if people wanted more information about the Winning Foundation, how would they get more information? I know that you're always interested in people coming alongside you and supporting your initiative in whatever way they can.
Well, they can contact me at the winningfd@gmail. That's WINNINGFD@gmail. Or they can call me personally, 256-975-4321. The last thing they can do, they can go into any city school, go to the counsel's office, and they will have our information also.
Outstanding. So it is a true partnership, and it's one that we hope will be a winning combination for our city. Bryant Smith. He is program coordinator and founder of the Winning Foundation. Thank you for being with us today and sharing this information. Come back and see us sometime.
Thank you, I will.
Teresa Batts, board member and also right there in the trenches making it happen. Thank you for what you're doing. Come back and see us and talk to us about what's going on.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us here.
Absolutely. I want to thank you for being a part of our broadcast today as well, and we hope that you will tune in again to our next edition of the Impact broadcast. As always, we're appreciative that you've taken time to be with us today, and we hope that you'll follow us on Facebook at Impact with Kenny Anderson, and let us know about your program ideas, your questions, your comments, your ideas about how we can make this an even better program. In the meantime, this is Kenny Anderson. I hope you have a great day.